Hey guys, welcome to Waste Not Wednesday. We are live from the farmhouse. This is where most live videos are going to happen because we're pretty much working around the clock here to get this home ready to move in 7 weeks. I counted it. It's 7.
7 weeks to the end of July?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I think I can have the roof and insulation and electrical done in the addition. If you can knock this out, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. So we're tag teaming. If you love DIYs and upcycles, thrift hauls, all that, make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be working on the fireplace. We started it a while ago, but we didn't finish it. So we're going to finish doing some mortar German schmear because the bricks are adobe and really soft, and they actually had this fireplace plastered in. So there's a ton of damage. So we're going to get that finished today. We're going to work on a salvaged mantle, show you what we've got going on there. And if there's time, we're going to do a third project with an old board and some hooks to make a coat rack for the mudroom. That's just the other side of this room. So I'm going to be answering questions, and Zeb's going to give you a little bit of info on what he's got going on.
Check out this old growth wood that we had just chilling in the top of the old addition that we tore down. And I've glued it together. I'll have to plane it later. We'll probably sand it. I'm just going to set it on there for visual purposes today. We might get it hung, we might not. But just a couple of planks that are screwed together and glued, and that's going to be the mantle.
And these are beams, right, from this house?
So they're old rafters that were in the addition.
Okay, yeah. So we actually have a pile of wood in the back, and we're using a lot of wood in the house that we found in the back. In fact, the countertop for the island, which we can show you here in a little bit, is from the rafters. So we're kind of repurposing as much wood as possible whenever we can.
So for this area here, what we're using to do this German schmear look is just this ready mix stucco patch. We found that it's been really good. It was already mixed up, and it's like $7 for a can of this. It's gonna take like 3 of them. We're gonna go ahead and mortar around these cables so that the wires are hidden. This was already here. They had lamps here, and then they plastered it over and there were no lamps, and we found it behind the wall. It was a flat wall when we bought the house.
And I was like, they already drilled it, so we're gonna go ahead and put sconces. I know some of you guys have already seen those, so we'll get those up today. The only thing that we're not gonna get is this stovepipe. We will mortar to it. Zeb's gotta drill this out and make it flush here.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna do that on a live video because it's loud.
So the crazy thing is I think that they plastered over this and then they put a wood stove in front of the fireplace and ran a pipe up to the chimney through here.
Because they didn't like the fireplace,
It's
or
like
maybe
blowing my mind.
Maybe they plastered over it, and then later they were like, "Oh, we need something to heat this house," and that's when they put that in. I don't know, but this wasn't exposed through the plaster, so I think this happened at some later date. Who knows, right? Crazy. Anyways, we're gonna be working on that. I'm here answering questions. Andy says, "I made the live. Love all the work going on in the house." And Maria says hello from Paris. Hello, I would love to be in Paris. What's the weather there like right now? And Nancy says the fireplace is glorious. I agree. I still remember the day I walked in and Zeb told me that he had a surprise. And I almost cried because I had really wanted a fireplace, but I did not think that we would be able to afford to put one in. And while this will never be working because they plastered it all the way through the chimney, just having this in the house will be a great aesthetic. And they do make inserts that do not have to be vented, and so we may do that eventually if we can afford that.
So you may need to come through here. I don't remember how we did this last time. Did we use a
rag?
rag
I need to get a
or
sponge.
A sponge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we used the sponge to knock some of this down.
Let me grab a bucket and I will be right there. I just gotta empty this out.
Okay.
And I'll get some water in it.
So I'm filling in all the cracks, and we're making it just look kind of like a schmear. We'll probably have to scrape some off of the bottom because this is a messy process. If your mantle's all nice and neat and you've got a nice brick, I don't even know, apron on the front of your fireplace or something like that, you might want to cover that up or drop cloth or something. We've just got wood down here that's going to get sanded and painted, so no biggie on that. I'll bring you close so you can see kind of the detail. This is old adobe brick, and it's a bit crumbly. But yeah, when we initially bought the house, you can see the pop out where the fireplace was on the outside, but then you walked in and it was just like a solid wall. There was no indication of any fireplace on the inside.
I think this is gonna be messy.
Oh yeah, it always is.
Caitlin's probably gonna have to answer questions. It's not gonna be like working.
So this stucco mix, it's pretty soft, but once it dries, it gets really hard. Like it's got a good consistency for schmearing, but once it dries, like this here has really strengthened the brick. This stuff that's been dry here.
Yeah, Caitlin is awesome. She's really good at answering stuff.
I'm about to just get my gloves up and ditch this spatula.
All right, I'm gonna come back in a minute and do this. I've got to get those corbels. I've got to get them dark and decrepited.
Show them the corbels. These corbels here are seconds. They had an issue on the CNC, and so they needed some repairs and things. So we're gonna use them here because we don't care. We're just gonna paint them.
Yep. So these are the Farmhouse 1917 corbels. You can get them unfinished. Zeb, I need you.
Oh.
And we did use these in the pantry. I've got my makeshift work table here.
We're gonna use them throughout the house.
Yeah, they're gonna be a feature, and we may even make a smaller version to use in a few places. So this is just like the base coat, so I can just dress down to it. I'll just put this on and then rub it back so it dries fast. So this is dark and decrepit. It's an all-natural water-based stain. It can be used over the top of finished surfaces. It can be used as a glaze. And then in this case, I'm using it like a stain. And it has a built-in top coat, which is great because I'm going to paint these and distress them. And I don't have to put a top coat over the stain because a lot of times you have to top coat it. Plus, it dries in like 15 minutes. Traditional stain, you should wait 24 hours. So lots of bonuses here. If your surface is already finished, but it's super shiny, you probably want to lightly sand it so it gives the dark and decrepit. I mean, you can paint it over the top, but if you lightly sand it, it gives you something for it to stick to. I'm only doing the sides and the front because this is going to be unseen up here and back there, and there's no point in painting them. Okay.
Amy Waters, yeah, the fascinating real-time learning. Also, the behind-the-scenes mistakes that you don't get to see in an edited video sometimes.
Zeb and I are all about multitasking. Yesterday, I shiplapped a whole corner and worked on the island while Zeb was outside putting the first row of subfloor on the second floor.
Yeah.
And that's the only way we're going to get this done is he's going to do the things he has to do, and then I come in and do the things I can do.
So lots of farmhouse videos coming your way.
Yeah.
If you've been waiting for farmhouse videos, we're starting to do pretty stuff, so you know, we're over here doing it.
Well, and there will be furniture videos coming up because I'm going to do a couple of chairs for the living room, and then we've got a bunch of buffets to finish for vanities. So you'll get some fun furniture videos that you like. They're just going to be furniture for me instead of furniture that I sell. And we'll still have shop stuff going on because the shop is only a couple minutes from this farmhouse, so I'm always going back and forth. All right, now that's on there. I need a paper towel. Good, I planned ahead. So I'm just gonna wipe this back. You should use a lint-free rag, not a paper towel. But when you're at the farmhouse, sometimes you're stuck with what you got.
Here, let me show you guys. I've ditched the spatula. And I'm just using my hand with my glove on here.
I want to show them too. Don't let me forget to show them the Bondo stain because people ask me all the time, like, can you stain it? And you can just like see where it was.
Yeah, it's just.
If you did a thicker coat of dark and decrepit, it would hide it. But I'm wiping this back because ain't nobody got time to wait for this to dry.
So I'm losing a lot less on the ground because it was just sliding off of that spatula by using my glove here. And you know, I'll probably just ditch these gloves when I'm done.
I'm actually not using a little D. I'm using the blending brush. This is the full-size dark and decrepit, not the sample one. And so this does fit. This is the DIY blending brush. It does fit in the bigger jar of dark and decrepit. If you do have the smaller jar of dark and decrepit or sample jars or pints, the little sampler brush will fit in those, the DIY sampler. And if you're new to our channel, you can pick up these paint and products at JamiRayVintage.com. And if you're a DIYer, you know how fantastic it is that I can wash this off of my hands. Traditional stain stinks, and does not come off the hands unless you use like gasoline or WD-40. Ask me how I know that about WD-40. I once had to go to a school event and had a traditional stain all over my hands, and I didn't want to look strange, so I sprayed my hands with WD-40 and got it off. All right, so that should be dry in about 5 minutes because I wiped it back. So this is just the dark and decrepit, and I'll show you here. This is what it looks like over Bondo. And if you were to go thicker instead of wiping it back, you could really mask the Bondo. So it is a good option. It's not like traditional stain where it has to soak in. The dark and decrepit has a sealer in it, so it can sit on top if need be. Since this is just a base coat, I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, I'm gonna let those dry in the window, and then I'm gonna get working on my board.
I'll show you guys the wall in a minute once there's more progress.
So this is gonna actually be a really straightforward, simple process. This is just an old board. We sanded it smooth, but look, we got some raw ends. So I'm just gonna darken, decrepit, and wipe those back. And it will look a little bit darker, but that's okay. I got a trick for you. Just gonna paint this on, wipe it back. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Sorry, can you guys see that? I'm just putting a little bit of dark and decrepit on these raw new ends because we had to cut it to size. So the next trick is I'm just gonna take a little bit of beadboard. This is just DIY paint and beadboard. I'm just gonna get on the end of my paper towel. They're water-based. You can blend the beadboard with the dark and decrepit and get a fairly authentic looking color. So look at the end of my board. This is the old wood. This is what was brand new. All I did was take a little bit of beadboard and mix it in with the dark and decrepit while it was wet, and now the end looks like it's always been aged and you don't have a weird funky raw edge. So that's a little pro tip for you. You gotta make sure the dark and decrepit is still wet, but it works really well. And I like to just rub it in so it gets in the end grain. And if it gets to be too splotchy, you can actually also just get it wet, but I don't mind a little bit of splotches of white paint because it will match what's on the front. So it'll make it look original. I'm wondering what the plan is for these chairs. Okay, so these are old theater seats. These will go in front of a window that's over here because they can flip up and they won't block the walkways. That will show you you wanna show them the window?
Sure.
I'm gonna reupholster
I think they
them.
will block the walkway. I don't want anything to go there, but you know, we'll see how it ends up.
Well, anyways,
So it's got a bunch
like
of stuff
big
over here
walkway.
right now, but you can see between the island here and this window is about 6 feet right there, and they'll probably go right under that window.
Once they're folded up though, they go to about this skinny. Show them this.
Yeah, if you fold them up, you can get by them
So
real
when
big.
these are folded up, you have about what, like a foot?
It's probably
13 inches?
14 inches.
So this is how skinny those can get. So they're perfect for an area where you're gonna have a lot of walkway because I'll reupholster them, keep them up, and then when we need extra seating, we can just push them down. And we have 3.
I may not have got enough of this stucco to fill those holes.
All right, so
They're taking a lot
well,
to fill
we'll do the
this
best we
gap
can.
here. I have mortar I can mix. I might do that after the video, and then we'll just, because we might dry brush this white with like beadboard or something to match the cabinets.
Well, you can actually really stretch it a little further with the sponge. You don't need to use as much.
Yeah.
So you mush that around.
The hand technique's working. You could also get like a piping bag and do that, but this stuff is so crumbly. Anytime I pipe it, like you gotta push it with some pressure. So that's why the spatula or the glove method is working well.
Lots of water really helps keep it moving. I'm glad that I'm wearing plastic shoes today.
Oh, that is a lot of water.
Well, you gotta,
Is my open can over there? Oh, it's over here.
I may need a few more paper towels.
Well, Harrington's working
My
down in
new
the
sweater's
basement,
gonna
so
get all smudging.
if it leaks down through the cracks in the floorboard that I haven't fixed yet, he'll get a little wet.
Ah, all right. All right, I'm gonna hit that with a paper towel to dry it off. not a huge proponent of using paper towels for everything, guys, but sometimes when jobs are messy and you don't have washcloths, they really do come in handy.
I think
Shop
I have
towels.
some rags, some shop towel style rags, and
Did you buy some?
no, I think they're in the truck.
Oh. It's all right.
Actually, no, they're not shop towels. They're regular, like, free rags.
It's alright, because if I use a regular towel, I'm gonna have to throw them away when I'm done. So, it's fine.
So where?
I'm gonna let that set up a little bit over
So I
there.
think we'll leave this vertical brick exposed, and then I'm gonna shiplap over this top
Yeah, so we
layer.
only need to go to
Because we've
this-
got these big gaps up here.
We only need to go to the tippy top of all those chunk bricks that are
Yeah.
and then, I feel like that's the official term, like you know what I mean? That's my trash can, I have nowhere to put my garbage. Is this one empty?
Yeah. Just make a little pile, we'll get it after we're done.
Okay, I'm gonna need a paper towel. Alright, so that's good over there. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, Zed, before I hit it with the wet sponge. And I
Yeah,
may
if-
let
if
you
you
do
hit
it
it
because you're
too wet.
taller.
No, that's fine.
We've exceeded my usefulness.
No, just get on top of a bucket and don't get
I
tippy
am
on
not getting on a bucket on
it.
a
Don't
hard
get
video.
tippy on it. Buckets are like the best step stools ever.
I feel like that's a recipe for disaster.
An upside down bucket. It's great. All right, I got one of these left. Let's see if I can finish this side. That side's pretty well done.
Alright, well while you're doing that, I'm gonna get some whitewash going for the brick below. That's already dry. So I've just got DIY paint and water. Ta-da!
Here, I'll show them what you're
And
doing
a
down
foam
there.
cup, also a little bit of Gatorade. Might
Might-
have a pink hue.
You're gonna make that pink.
That's alright.
Should have rinsed that up better.
I'm using beadboard, in case anybody's wondering. It's the official Farmhouse 1917 color, apparently. So I'm just making like a milky whitewash. I reuse everything. Foam cups that we get our Gatorades and our stuff then become wash cups. So anyways, that's what that is. No exact measurements, probably like 8 to 10 parts water to 1 part paint. And I'm just gonna wash it.
Well, we gotta get this part done so I can put the sconces up.
Yep. Oh. And this just kind of washes right over the top of those bricks, lightens up that mortar a little bit. And everybody was kind of like wondering if we were going to paint the sconces, and we're not, because the whole fireplace is going to be much lighter once I whitewash it. So the sconces' existing color will be a good contrast. And this we did like last winter. This part down here.
Yeah, it was cold. We were in jackets. It's ironically it's cool again now.
And I will probably not bother to put sealer over this whitewash. It's not going anywhere. This is so porous that it's soaking right into the
Some of these
situation.
bricks, I might just let you do the whitewashing
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't have to be completely uniform.
because they don't have as big a gaps. I've got a big hole I've got to fix here around
around
the pipe.
Yeah. Do you guys see the difference between the whitewashed bricks? And I might, if I don't think it's wide enough, I might come back and do it a second time. The walls will be very white, so it'll give some contrast. Are you
Yeah,
reading
if you want to,
questions?
yeah, I was reading some comments. If you want to try the schmear, we've actually got a video where we did it in a bathroom on some fake bricks, like
That
one
was
of
in
those
our
fake
laundry
brick
room.
panels. Just search Jami Ray Vintage German schmear,
Oh goodness.
and it should pop up. And it's got like a full DIY on our laundry room makeover
Look,
that
you
we
have a
did.
pile of wood right here. It's the perfect stool. I'm gonna
Nice.
use it. It's the leftover from the stair.
I'm glad I could be
treads.
there for you today.
Yeah, your pile of wood is there for me today. It's gonna be my stool. So this is actually gonna be inset a little bit from the framing Zeb had to do for structural. So we will shiplap to here, and then there'll be a little piece of quarter round.
So you can see the gap over here between the wall and the 2x4s. Down on the bottom, it's kind of flush. Up at the top, it's not. I had to do some fun leveling of the house, but the new walls are mostly nice and level, as well as level as we could get them, without going crazy and taking
I've
up a
been
lot of square
shiplapping the
footage.
new walls. The ones in the back are not great.
No, but that back corner is like the worst part in the house. The rest of the house is mostly level and
Like a
straight.
spider web.
All right, this is the last little bit.
This is the perfect thing to do if you guys have a little bit of DIY paint left over. Just make it into a wash. Don't throw out your can.
We
What
love
I
to
like
do it
to
on tables.
Yeah, what I like to do is when I have a little bit of any color I want to do a wash with, if I don't want to use it right away, I just add the water to the can so the paint doesn't dry out in the bottom and shake it up really good, and then I store it that way, and when I'm ready to use it, I'm good to go. Because if you have a little bit of paint left in your can, you don't add water, it will dry out over time. So, and then I write on the can wash, because otherwise I'll think I have a whole quart of paint, and then I go to paint something and I'm like, oh, that's less than I thought it was. So this is another good waste not, because you waste not the bottom of the paint. This paint is like liquid gold. This will have like...
I'm gonna do some spray foam down in the gap down there between the basement and the wall, so that there's no
So we can just do
weird
like a big
airflow
fat
or
base
sound
going
or
down here.
anything. Yeah.
You could wipe the wash back, but this wash is so thin and soaking in, there's just no need to wipe it
Well,
back.
and usually like a wash will be brighter when it's wet, and then as it dries, it really tones back most of the time.
But this time, this will dry lighter because it's clay paint. So it goes on darker than it is in real life.
All right, so how high we're coming
going
up
to the
on it.
To the, just the and then done. So where it's starting to break off on each side, that's where it'll just have shiplap across.
Hopefully you guys are doing all right without us. We're working and not answering questions.
And I'm only gonna take this wash up to here because that has to dry completely before I can wash it. I can touch it up after the light fixtures are in. I can wash it, it won't hurt it. I'm good at
Sally
working.
Hutton, we are working on the fireplace mantle, and we're gonna hopefully hang these sconces here in a minute that we've got. I'm gonna go break them out.
Somebody said that we should stop doing the live videos so we can focus on the farmhouse. I'm like, nope, we're just gonna make the live videos all about the farmhouse, multitask. Plus, I can't get Zeb to do the pretty stuff unless it's for a video. So you guys are a great excuse to for me to get some pretty stuff done, because he knows that you guys really love to see. You guys like to see the nitty gritty, but you also like to
I wouldn't say can't, but I am pretty focused on framing the
well,
addition
you're
right
focusing
now.
on the most important things. So with this,
Like electrical, I've been doing.
like a roof.
I woke up and took Eliza to cheer practice at 5:30 this morning, and then I went to Home Depot and got a bunch of electrical stuff that I needed to wrap up some things
Then
today.
you crawled back in bed until it
I did come back and lay down for like 20 minutes before I had to take Odelia to cheer.
I rolled over. There was a warm body in bed. I was like, hey, I thought you were going to the farmhouse. You're like, just a few more minutes.
All right, so we need to sponge the top so it doesn't look like glove smears.
Yep, and wipe off some of the bricks. I'm almost done with this on the front. I'll do the inside of the fireplace insert later. We'll get some good pics and show them on either community or on Instagram or Facebook, so you guys can see what this looks like. I'll get Zeb to temporarily put up the mantle. The mantle won't be permanent for a hot minute because we've got to get the shiplap in and paint it, and I don't want to be painting around a mantle because we're not going to paint the wood on the mantle. The corbels will be painted, the wood will not.
So this is just wet sponge. You can get these over in the tile section at most hardware stores.
Or at the dollar store.
I don't know if they sell these at the dollar store. These ones are a little more dense.
They're more durable. They won't rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want the cheap ones. But if you're doing the fake brick, you could totally use a cheap sponge. Because it's not sharp. This brick has a lot of sharp, weird edges. And there was no way we could leave the fireplace the way that it was. It was just crumbling. Some people are like, oh, you ruined it. You covered the brick. I'm like, there is.
Well, the Adobe.
We saved it, man. That was crumbling.
Like if you look up here, I'll give you a close view of the mortar that's in between the bricks. If you touch that or bump it, it just falls out.
Yeah, careful. You're going to knock over my paint there.
Oh.
Sorry. All right, I'm going to.
And there's daylight up there because I cut the eaves off and I'm going to fix that here once the second story gets put on.
I'm gonna get started painting these corbels.
So hopefully you guys are enjoying these farmhouse videos. We've been trying to, you know, do a mix of construction and a mix of the fun stuff like the pantry.
This is going on a little thin because my brush is wet, but that's all right. I'll do 2 coats.
So Jamie's painting these up so we can get the mantle put up on there. So I think I'll hang the lights and then we'll see. We might have to add a little more mortar on there.
I think you need to get mortar all the way up this coil on this
I'm out of
side.
mortar, so we'll have to either make some or go get more.
Okay, well, we'll make it do.
It'll look okay for the video today.
Yeah.
And then we'll touch it up.
If you're wondering why this paint is dripping and thin, it's because there's a lot of water on my brush. Normally DIY paint would probably cover this in 1 coat, but that's all right. I don't have multiple brushes, so I have to use the wash brush on the corbel. And maybe we'll do like a thinner type finish on here. You never know. Sometimes things turn out a little different.
Margarita Ramos says, thank you, Jamie, for the transfers. Best idea ever. I divided it and put it on different stuff and sold quickly in my booth. Awesome.
Oh, I love it when people can use the products from JamiRayVintage.com and not only make their home beautiful, but make money. That's always what we're trying to do, is trying to create ways for people to create income, because we have made good money from doing DIY type stuff.
Katie Scott, she's busy working on filling holes in her new laundry room while she watches. Perfect.
Katie, I am almost Canadian. And do you know why? Because we got fresh snow on our mountains in June. And I was like, so this is what it feels like to be Canadian. I thought about you. Is it still cold there, Katie? We're gonna be 90 by Friday, but we had snow on the mountains
Well, it
over
was
the weekend.
35. I had to put an extra light on the chicks.
Yeah, it's been cold. We have the weirdest weather here.
Maybe we'll get the chicks in the next video. They're like 2 weeks old now, and they've grown
Hey.
so much.
Let's see. Jamie, do y'all have any videos on raised stencils? Yes, so just search Jami Ray Vintage raised stencil. We used a joint compound and our vine stencil, and we did a dresser. It was a dresser that we had paint poured and it didn't sell. So I did a raised stencil and it sold like within a week. The vine is perfect for drawers for raised stencils because it's long and you can use it over and over again to create whatever size you need for your drawer. But yep, I totally have. And we haven't done a video on it yet, but I was doing a pediment a few weeks ago and I did a raised stencil with salt wash, and then I don't know, it was awesome, and we made this really cool background texture on it, and it was really fun. So I'm gonna have to find something I need to do in the farmhouse with a similar technique so that way I can make a video on it. Maybe I'll do one of the buffets with some raised techniques. Can I come bring my boys to see the chicks? Yeah, you can come anytime. We're pretty much always here.
Yeah.
We can't guarantee the safety of your boys because it's like a construction zone, but there's a really good park by our house, so they can come see the chicks, go play at the park, make a day of it. They're getting big. And
Is that Caitlin?
yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm just telling Caitlin she can bring the boys. So it's not that I don't love you guys, but it's not an open
I was
invitation.
like, who are you talking to?
Talking to Caitlin. Sorry, get in my own little world. Would you like to keep some sense of privacy in our life? Caitlin's my niece, so her boys are my great nephews. All right, so we got these painted. Let that dry for a minute. It's gonna be 90 today, Sally said. It's 100 degrees today, Katie. What? I can't believe that we're hotter than Canada here.
Colder.
Or colder, sorry, colder than Canada. Anna does want the video on the raised stencil with salt wash. All right, I will do it. It's cool. I'll come up with a reason. Caitlin says she could get Jack. Yeah, you could get Jack unless he's over here today. Jack's hanging out, but yeah, Jack loves coming over here, and he'd love to go to the park with your boys, Caitlin, so let's do that. And you can pick up the bread box that's sitting at the shop, and you can take some stuff home to paint it or sand it and keep it the way that it is.
All right.
That has too much, I think, up there.
In
In the areas that we can leave more, I feel like we should.
So there was some big gaps up there that I was filling. I'll see.
This is okay here because the sconce will cover that indent, so that's fine.
I'll give it a good scrubbing. And then I'll transfer some of that up
Can you
here.
guys see that where it's dry, like where the whitewash is drying, it's drying lighter? I think I'll do 2 coats of whitewash to really lighten that up. I like it. And I might add more white to my paint or to my wash to really lighten that up.
All right, just a minute here. We're gonna break these sconces out and kind of place the mantle, hopefully.
Oh,
Are you gonna distress those?
Yeah. Yumiko wants to see the chicks before they grow up. We will definitely have the chicks in more videos. We are taking pictures all along
Their
the way.
feet got real fuzzy like overnight.
Yeah. If you're a channel member, for the basic channel membership, we do printables, and the printables for the next few months are going to be the chicks. Every few weeks, we're going to take pictures
We're
when
gonna
it
do
warms
like a
up.
photo shoot.
We have to wait till it's warm enough to put them on the grass, which it will be by Friday. And every 2 weeks, you're going to get printables of the chicks. So maybe eventually you could even have like a fun gallery wall. I think that would be fun. Jamie, do you rent out Zeb? Nope.
I don't have time to be rented out.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
There was no-
She says her toilet keeps running. Let me tell you the truth about Zeb. I have a toilet at the shop that runs. In fact, I had to turn it off last night. So, best hire you a plumber. I'm not saying Zeb can't
I
fix
can fix it. I just don't usually get to it.
He don't have the time.
I weigh, so I have so many projects on the back burner that I weigh like priority on which projects need done first. And some projects just like get farther and farther down on the list.
Yeah, so your toilet probably wouldn't make the list even if he was your husband.
Like if it's not leaking on the floor, that's fine.
Because that's basically my life. It's like the cobbler's kids have no shoes. I actually wind up Googling a lot of stuff and figuring it out myself, but that's why
Harrington has gotten pretty good at fixing toilets.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, go fix that.
That's kind of like with the shiplaps that I've been putting in. Like Zeb is a much better carpenter than me, but he doesn't have time to do it. So there I am. Yesterday I had to make some judgment calls on how to fix a few things.
It turned out good.
Yeah, I just.
You know what? And the spots that are a little wonky are going to be covered by trim. So.
And they're not wonky because I suck. They're wonky because the house is.
Because the wall's.
The house
wall's
has
special.
a little bit of specialty. We don't want to talk mean about the house because we don't want to hurt its feelings.
I keep swiping over this spot, having to come back over.
Leave it, let it dry for a little bit so you need to build it up.
No, well, I keep pulling out of this one spot. I'm probably gonna have to come back in once it's dry. And
I'm going
add,
to
like,
put these
another
in the
layer here.
sunshine. And Zeb, would you actually go?
All right.
I think I could get it.
So mostly repaired. Need to let that dry and stop touching it for a minute.
We can start putting the hooks on that board.
Well, so I'm gonna show them the sconces and the mantle. The mantle is gonna hang. It needs a good sanding. I haven't gotten to that yet. I just glued it together this morning. But probably, maybe a little lower because those sconces. I'll get Jami in here. She'll know exactly where she wants it.
What? Wait, I heard my name.
Yeah, how high do you want this mantle? Like, where do you want it
I
at?
think we need to do the sconces first,
Sconces first?
and then I can decide on the mantle.
Okay, I'll go grab those.
I'm not a good designer. I don't just know from.
You gotta close this door though.
I gotta see it. Sorry, I'm going right back out. I'm just painting another coat on this.
You might need to, no, those corbels will go.
I'm just putting them out in the sunshine. So they'll dry while we're doing the rest of it. Otherwise they'll never dry because it's too cold in here. And people always ask us about insulation. This house has double thickness adobe block, the old part of the house, which is more insulation than any modern home could dream of. So we don't have to add extra insulation. We're insulating the top where the block ends, but in the eaves, which actually subsequently didn't have any real insulation before. It's all
Alright.
old and decrepit. All right, I'm gonna put this out and then I'll come up.
I don't know if I have the right hardware to hang these. So that's what those are gonna look like there. But we gotta get that dry and painted, I think, before we put these up permanently. These, if you wanna get them, they're Jami Ray Vintage Home, and they come wired.
Oh, I didn't send Caitlin that link. Sorry. Sorry, Caitlin. She might have to look.
So
up the
if
link.
you're not an electrician, it's okay. You can run this.
Yeah, a
wherever you
really
want.
great way to hide the cord is to mount this on an old door or a shutter, drill a hole behind, and then you can run the cord behind the door. That's what we have in our house right now. We have these lamps that hang over our bedside tables, and I just put old doors and put the cord behind it because we weren't gonna run it through the wall because we rent, and it hit great. So if you don't have an electrician and you don't have any electrical in your wall, you can still have a sconce without that ugly cord. Okay.
I may have to modify.
Anna says, girl power, Sally, only way to get stuff done at my house. Well, and sometimes if I just do it a little bit wrong, then he like comes in and fixes it.
That's the secret.
Or hire somebody. Don't you hire no handyman to come to Zeb Ray's house. I did that one time and got some lights put in, and then Zeb wound up having to help.
I had to redo it.
Yeah, if the toilet's running, it's usually the flapper, and you can actually go to Home Depot, and if you like, literally like video what's happening, open the top of your toilet, video what's going on in there, go to the plumbing aisle and find the old guy there. There's always one at every Home Depot or Lowe's. Show them the video and say, this is what's going wrong, how do I fix that? And literally, they will show you the parts and walk you through it. They are so good. They always want to try to help me, and I'm like, I got this. But they love to help.
I gotta grab my
drill. That's my Home Depot hack. Like if there's anything you want to do and you don't know how to do it, take a video, take pictures, go in, and they will help you figure out what to buy and how to do it. As long as it's something they can figure out.
They won't tell you code. That's against their rules.
Yeah, they won't help you do it, but they can also though send you to some handyman. Like if it's something that's beyond a basic DIY, they can refer you to contractors too. So really good resource there. When when we first moved up to Utah, I'll give you a little backstory while Zeb's getting these up here. Zeb was up in here for 2 months, and I was down in Arizona with 2 kids. I wasn't pregnant, but I was working full time. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what was going on. But anyways, we decided to tile 2 bathrooms and a laundry room, and I did it all while Zeb was gone. My dad was there, but he wasn't in shape to help me, so he sat and told me what to do, and I bought the tile and the grout at a yard sale, and I tiled 2 bathrooms and a laundry room without Zeb. It wasn't perfect, but it was done. I wish, they said pictures. I wish I had pictures. That was a long time ago, like 12 years ago, before I even thought about posting pictures on, I don't even think I had a Facebook back in those days. And we were gonna be renting out our house, and so I didn't wanna leave like that cheap rollout vinyl, because I didn't feel like it would hold up to renters, so that's why I put the tile in there. And we had a dog chew up the laminate floor in the laundry room. Shelly says, my husband said he's gonna buy me my own set of tools because he asked me to borrow his bag. Yeah, Zeb and I share a little bit. So Katie says, I worked at HR at Home Depot for 10 years. There's always a retired plumber in the aisle. See, Katie knows. Yeah, I was actually buying 3-inch ABS pipe for Zeb, and I knew what I was looking for, but I just want to make sure if they had different styles. And the guy in the plumbing aisle was like, yeah, nope, that's what you need, grab it. And I was like, oh, I need this, blah, 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 blah. And he showed me exactly where it was, and they're always really, really good. Marcius.
I'm just over here off camera, like pulling apart the actual wiring.
Let's show him. Zeb doesn't like to show you the dirty parts of the farmhouse, but there you go.
Oh, no, it don't matter. This thing's all blown up. Hey, too low.
Too low? Okay. There you go. Marcia says, she says, bless the old guys at Home Depot. I look for them too. Shelly says her husband blames me for his missing tools. Tell your husband to slow his roll. It's not my fault. You best put them back. Actually, the only reason Zeb can find his tools is because I insisted he buy a toolbox. I'll show you. Look. See that big black thing? It's a locking toolbox on wheels. Worth its weight in gold. It was what, like $60 at Home Depot?
I think 70.
70.
Yeah.
And then
and it locks.
We did a video showing the organization right here. These are where we keep the screws. Those are from Harbor Freight, and we have all the screws and nails. And that's how I keep Zeb's tool situation organized at the farmhouse, because it gets a little bit crazy. And I'm about to organize all of his plumbing and electrical parts.
Don't do it. I'll never be able to find which box they're in.
I'm just going to group them all together. Like one box that says electrical, one box that says plumbing. My problem is sometimes I don't know exactly what things are. So I have to look it up. Like, is that plumbing? Is it electrical?
All right, so just because we're talking about it, this piece here comes with its own ground wire and all of this if you don't have that already in your wall, but the sconce, the box that I put on the wall is grounded to the main electrical system, so no biggie, I'm just gonna eliminate that whole piece.
So Vintage Sin, she just got here late. We put mortar on the bricks and then smeared it with a sponge because the adobe was crumbling. And then I did a whitewash with water and beadboard paint, and I'll probably come back once it's all dry and do another whitewash to lighten that brick up. We had to do it because the bricks are just falling apart, and so the mortar kind of holds everything in. And then Zeb's working on taking these hardwired lamps and making them
I didn't know that
wired.
there was so much extra pieces to this
They're not
lamp.
hardwired. We're turning a plug-in lamp to a hardwired lamp. That's what it is. And we're also working on corbels and a hook thing for my mudroom. So it's not Waste Not Wednesday if we don't do 500 projects. And we only have 14 minutes.
Consequently, we don't have bulbs for this either, so.
That's all right. Then you won't be able to flip it on and then see that maybe the electric does or doesn't work. Just kidding. He checked it. He has a little tester. It works. Lisa says, love your show. And then Caitlin dropped the link for the sconces. We do carry these. If you need more than what we have in stock, we can actually custom order them, how many ever you need, and have them drop shipped to you.
Here, come talk in front of the pretty fireplace.
All right, in front of a pretty fireplace. And you know what you missed, Vintage Sin? I showed you how to take raw ends and make them look old. So this is the original old wood here. So you'll have to re-watch this. I did a little trick to make this raw end that looked like new lumber match the old wood, because this is the board going up with hooks in my mudroom. We're gonna do that in a little bit. This is just an old board. I have no idea which part of the farmhouse this came from. This was from the lean-to
That was from
carport.
the carport, yeah.
Yeah, we finally hauled off the rest of the carport. If you guys remember, that was on the right side of the house. And Zeb's like hauling it away, and I'm like, don't take this board. And he's like, what are you gonna do with it? I'm like, I'm gonna put hooks on it. He's like, well, you better get to it, because if it's there in a week, throwing it away. So I got to it.
Well, the trouble is we have so much excess lumber right now that it's just, I can't make things fast enough, and it's just in the way.
Hey.
I'm tripping. It's like a hazard.
Some lumber is garbage and some lumber is gold, and you gotta know the difference.
Okay, I need you to
What do you
come over
need?
here and hold this. Just
Okay.
like right there while I
Can
wire
do your
these.
Vanna White?
I don't know. Are your arms gonna hold up while I wire this?
Are you kidding me? Look at all that shiplap I put up yesterday. I even got a blister on my arm from the nail gun.
Oh man.
You guys,
gotta wear gloves.
yesterday I had the nail gun on the ladder, not a good idea, and I moved the ladder and the nail gun hit me right on the head. I had to leave. Zeb did not go to see if I was okay.
If she can walk away, she's all right, and you don't want to talk to her.
Harrington made the mistake of checking on me. I'm like, I'm fine. I left because I don't want to talk to humans. I have a little goose egg right here on my forehead. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's a little bump.
Yeah, I put some cover up over the scab because I literally had a head wound yesterday.
Okay, you gotta keep holding that because I wired it, but I wasn't ready to put my jig on.
All right, it's fine. It's like a little workout. I'll do one arm and
So
the
the
other.
trouble is,
Check out the back of this cardigan. That we
I might have to unwire that because you moved my back plates, and I don't know.
I know where the back plates are. I know where they
There's
are.
big ones and little ones. I need the little ones.
Oh, well, they were all in a pile. Hold this and I'll find the back plates.
Oh, found one. That's all we need.
We only need one because we're only getting one up because we ain't got time to get two up. I love this so much, can I tell you? You're gonna have to pull it off when I whitewash this anyways. That's all right.
All right, so back plate or
So you guys
cover
see-
plate, whatever you want to
Do
call
you guys
it.
see the nice contrast between the sconce and the mortar? Once I whitewash it, it'll even be more contrast, which is why I am not painting these. I may come in and white wax them, you just never know. But I can do that at a later date. I often talk to Delma, she used to own this house, and ask her her opinion on things. I don't think she's actually here because I'm pretty sure she was happy to leave this world and this old house, but I talk to her anyways. Especially when I'm pulling up her stupid rose bushes. I'm like, Delma, did you plant these or was it the first wife? Because she was the second wife of Mr. Webb that lived here. The first wife passed away and she came in the last 20 years of his life, and then we turned 20 more by herself.
All right, scooch it that way. We might have to unwire that.
Oh, okay.
I got some stuff I've got to do. Oh, and that screw's gone.
Oh. Did it go down the hole?
I think it went down the hole. I didn't hear it clink, so that's all right.
The fun thing about Delma is we used to get her mail for a while. She was a business owner because she used to get this magazine called like Entrepreneur Woman or something, and I thought that was interesting because she was.
All right, I had to unwire it real quick.
Oh.
You want to show them the corbels?
Am I gonna hit my head on the bottom of these? No, because there's gonna be a mantle here.
Yeah, there'll be
So
a
you'd have to
mantle.
like take your head up and over the mantle and do this. And I mean, that's a real
Okay,
special.
I actually don't know if I'm going to get this up in the video because I need some other screws, and I've got to kind of MacGyver this plate up on here so that it's right.
At least hold up the sconce, and then we can mark where we want the mantle.
Okay.
Where's a pencil?
Harrington, oh, there's one in my bag. It's over here.
In your pouch.
Yep, it's over on the other side there.
Okay, you talk to the people, I'll find it. Oh, I see it.
All right, so basically what I'm gonna do, because I probably won't show it on camera here, is I'm just gonna knock this punch out, and then it came with this to hang it, but it's too wide, so I need to grinder off the ends, and then I'll pull that through, bolt that on, and then I can put this on and tighten the screws down through the front of the sconce. There's two little screws here, but I have to put this plate back on there and modify it and grinder it. So that's gonna take a minute. Let's see, any comments I've been missing? Carla, I finished moving yesterday, but as a going away present, air conditioner hit me in the head. Oh no, that's terrible. An air conditioner is a little bit bigger than a staple gun. Katie Coleman, I love watching you guys live, such an inspiration. I'm trying to be diligent and work on my 100-year-old farmhouse too. Keep sending videos. Well, we'd love to see your 100-year-old farmhouse because those are exciting.
All right, so
And they've all got their own individual quirks.
just a couple of more minutes. Those corbels will be dry, and Burton dropped off your beam.
Oh, they dropped off my beam so I could finish the rest of the floor joist.
He didn't need me to sand it. So the technique that I did on the side of that other board is also the technique that I will do on this to make this raw new edge look old.
Okay, you want to hold this because that beam is definitely heavier than that.
It is going to exceed my...
I don't know that it will exceed it. Oh, so this mantle is going to be pretty low.
I think that's good. I think, well, we can move this up just a scotch. So I want the mantle to come up underneath it.
Like right underneath? But what about putting stuff on there? Like
Well, you're gonna put stuff in between, and you can fit stuff up underneath this, like if you had a garland. I'm not a big mantle person. I would say this.
I think
this
like right
there.
here, that brick line right there is the one we're gonna do.
Yep, perfect. Okay. All right.
We'll get this together by the end of the day and show you guys a good picture of it.
That'll be good. Let me go grab those corbels. Zeb, do you want to work on the hooks on that?
Oh yeah, we were gonna show hooks and things.
We got
We got
6
10
minutes.
We got 10 minutes.
got
We've
10,
been
but
live
we
for
started
49
late, huh?
minutes. A couple
Yeah.
minutes late. All right, where's your board?
It's right there. I'm just moving space on. Oops.
Did those hooks come with screws or do I need
Nope,
to?
I got you screws.
You found me some screws?
I got the screws that we use
Okay.
on the hardware. Well, right here.
Our makeshift table over here in the corner.
Hey, you know what? There's storage underneath. It's
Oh.
like multifunctional.
So if you guys are looking forward to farmhouse videos, we're gonna do resin on the countertop that I built out of the old ceiling joists out of here on the island. And probably continue shiplapping. If Jamie's real ambitious, we might even get to some tile work by
Stop calling.
Abe's on the bypass list.
All right,
Sorry,
the
guys.
corbels are in here.
Yes, they're theater chairs, Jen. Old ones, really old ones.
I bought them at an antique store before they closed. I bought them when I bought the table and the mirror that we used in the bathroom.
And they're getting reupholstered, so we're kind of using them as a workbench right now.
And they're super soft, so I've taken many naps on them. All right.
So this
Here's our
board
board.
is a little warped. I'll have to persuade that into straight once we
It'll be fine. You just screw it into the wall. I'm gonna fix that so you guys can really see what's going on there.
So
That's
these
kind
are
of like zooming in on your bum, so you might want to squat. I don't know.
Well, what are you doing?
Hold on, let's try a different angle. There we go. Our mudroom is not wide enough for these. So I want to put these in the middle. So it comes, these are actually hooks we sell on the website. They're cast iron, just like the pools in the pantry. So
All
we
right,
need to put the end ones a couple inches in. And then what we will do is we will just drill holes directly through this to the studs, and then
I don't know if she showed you. Did she show you already? These are numbered 1 through 6.
yeah, and it doesn't mean we're having 6 kids. It's just the set the way it comes. I'm saying that because I
When
know
Harrington goes to college, there will only be 6 of us.
I know my mother. Yeah, that's right. I know my mother-in-law is watching this video, and she always hints at it, but they just come in a set of 6. Caitlin can link these, and if you're watching the replay, I'll link these in the description box. Okay, so you got your screwdriver,
Well, I had a tape measure
a tape measure. I'll go grab you one.
Well, it was out here, so good luck.
Is there not one on the back?
Harrington may have grabbed it, and oh, here it is over here. It got moved. No one's on camera. Hey guys, we're coming back. All right, so it's 57 inches, so
Don't laugh.
that would
when
be
my bum's gonna be
23 and a half inches to center. No, that's not right. 28 and a half.
Thanks, Caitlin. You are. Jen says you took the words right out of my mouth on 6 kids. Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen, so I was just stopping y'all before it started. My 6th child is Jami Ray Vintage.
Or the
It keeps me
farmhouse
up
or
at night.
whatever.
Yeah, whatever the new project is. This shelf is going in the mudroom. So if I can find another board, I might make another one to sell. But if I don't, you can buy just the hooks, which are cheaper to ship. And then you could just make your own with an old chippy board. If you don't have chippy wood, you just use milk paint.
Oh, you're gonna sell this shelf? We're not using it?
This is not, no, I'm not selling this one, I'm saying if they wanted to make their own. This is not the mantle, this is just a coat hook for the mudroom. So I want the one on the end to be 2 inches in, so that's too far in.
Oh, 2 inches in?
Yeah, and then the other ones need to be spaced.
No, I can't even do math on that.
I know, I'm
Because
sorry.
I mean, I could, but it would take a minute.
Yeah, no hooks on the mantle, that might be a little weird with those fancy sconces. The mudroom's gonna be a little bit more utilitarian. It's gonna we actually have a water fountain bottle filler going in the mudroom, and we'll put a really skinny bench in there that we have in our house existing.
You said you had screws?
Yes, I have screws there, right there, waiting for you. So this is gonna go in there. I think the numbers really make it kind of schoolhousey utilitarian. It'll be great for kids to drop their backpacks and their jackets, and hopefully leave them there and not all over my dang house. But I'll see if anybody has questions.
Most people have just been commenting. I looked through a minute ago.
Why are you decorating before the build is done? I'm not gonna actually put this up. It'll just be finished. I'm doing it because Zeb told me if I didn't get this done, then he was gonna throw out the wood. So now it'll be done. I can put it in the pantry and I can just hang out there until the mudroom's finished. You gotta do it little by little. I'm hoping that when we move in, that this front room
Harrington's
is
making
actually
a lot of noise out there.
Yeah, this front room will be completely decorated and done before we move in.
Yeah, so we're probably gonna have this old part of the house all the way done while I'm still waiting on like things to come in.
It's kind of like what I do while Zeb's doing the other part of the addition. I can get this ready, so that way once the addition is done and we move in, this part will already be done.
Well, we don't even have trusses yet. They were 10 weeks back at the middle of April, and they're trying to move us up the line, but I mean, I ordered them the beginning of April, and we're still waiting on them, so.
Donna from Crescent Moon Cottage says, are you keeping that bench in the pantry? I am. So at first I thought it might be a little bit too big, but it actually fills the space really well. And I'm gonna put a few pillows on it. And somebody commented yesterday, why do you have a bench in the pantry? It's not just a pantry, it's a butler's pantry, so it's more prep space. And in our family, does anybody ever do anything alone?
No.
There's always somebody, some kid, or I'm in there and some kids with me, or some kids working and some siblings in there. So it just gives a place for somebody to sit and chat. When family comes, like when my mom and dad come to visit, they like to sit down and have a comfortable place to sit, and that bench is
Quick,
super
divide
cute.
48 by 5.
48 by 5?
Yep.
Hey Siri, what's 48 divided by 5? 9.6.
Okay.
They told me I was gonna need to know division. They didn't know Siri was coming.
So I'm gonna put these at like 9.5.
Oh yeah, well we thought that it might be too big, and maybe eventually that bench in the pantry will get replaced, but for now I love it, and it's such a cool bench that if I do replace it, I'll just find somewhere else for it to live.
Like if we need more storage,
Yeah.
then we can most likely put that down in the basement. So that was not.
When Zeb gets around to it, he'll build me something custom, but right now anything that he doesn't have to build is better. Janice.
So did you guys?
Are you new here, Janice? She
Oh.
says,
I think Janice comments a lot.
Janice Penn, she says, she's a talker, isn't she? I could say, Janice, you're a commenter, aren't you?
Hey, be nice, Jane.
You should meet my sisters. If you want. Sometimes I can't get a word in edgewise.
So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe I'm measuring from the wrong spot.
Oh no, Sandy's husband had to be in the ER. Oh, you guys, I need extra prayers for Jean. They had some, her dad had some situation happen last night and he is in the hospital. I don't know that she would mind me telling you, but if you would throw out some prayers for Jean, that would be great. For my parents as well. Jean's dad was in the hospital and still is. My mom was in the ER. My dad has to have surgery. I'm like, parents are getting older. But I think it was good that I went in and talked to Jean this morning about her dad, because her dad's younger, so he hasn't had a lot of issues, but my dad's 87. And so we have been through quadruple bypass and a whole bunch of other things. So I was able to talk to her about a lot of health issues and what's worked.
So the 9.6 seems right, but it's not quite lining up with these.
Thanks, Deb. Yeah, Jean is actually my retail manager at the shop. So she handles the front room. She also does some shipping too when she's on shift, but her main duties are making sure that the front rooms are all well stocked. She's awesome.
All right, you just
So
gotta
can
measure
you put
from.
the center one in place and then measure the other ones, like put the center too? But that wouldn't work because there's an even number. That looks good to me.
Well, it's right now. I was measuring from the wrong spot on the hook, because I measured from here to here, and then I was trying to line it up from the edge of the hook center. You know, you just gotta remember what you're doing sometimes.
Phyllis is my homegirl. She said, talk away, I like it. People either love it or they hate it. When I worked at the nursing home, they would stick me with the people that were nonverbal but needed company because I didn't need anybody to respond. Comes in handy. You never know when you're going to need to talk to somebody who can't talk back. Oh, Frazier, email Caitlin at info@jamierayvintagehome.com. Let her know that you want that 3X shirt. I will order more, and when we get it in, we can shoot you over an invoice, as long as they're not out of stock. I didn't know that that was sold out in that size, but I'm happy to order more. I'm trying to carry more plus size. In fact, I just put up a shirt. I didn't have anybody to try it on that would fit well, so I tried on the 1X and modeled it, but it's black, and then it has white with black stripes, and it's really soft. And it's true to size, so that's a new plus size shirt we just got in.
So guys, just a heads up for you. These are looking like they were handmade. They're not all completely uniform. They're cast iron. So a couple of them are crooked here and there. So if you order these and you've got some crooked ones, that's the way they come. And I'm kind of liking it because it's giving it some old world charm here.
We like charm. This house is very charming. Tanya says my talk upholstery is the best. The funny thing is Tanya knows me IRL. In real life, Tanya Robb. We've been friends for, gosh, Tanya, how many years has it been? At least 6 or 7.
All right, so I missed again. I'll have to fix these when I'm able to lay it out and not rushed on camera.
It's all right. It'll be fine.
What I'll do is I'll bring this one in and cut more end off the board.
Oh, so it's just this one that's off?
Yeah, that last one.
I was gonna say, you know what we should have done is we
off a
should have
little
snapped a chalk line. That would have made this life way easier. All right, as soon
The
as he's done with
center's not
that,
hard.
the corbels are all the way dry, so I'll distress them and kind of show you what the corbels look like. I can hold the corbels up if you want to hold the mantle. And
Yeah.
then we'll get it all put together by the end of the day and I'll get some pictures for you.
See this one here got a little, it's like an inch wide. Because I kept wanting to go off center and forgetting that I was over here, so I'm just gonna bring that one over.
So just ignore it. If that throws your eye off a little bit, we'll just bring this one in.
Probably can't
chop
even
it
tell
off.
on camera if I hadn't said something. Oh no,
No,
you can see
tell
a little bit.
But anyway, look how cute that is. We'll put a French cleat, one on each side. We'll hang that up, or Zeb will just screw it straight into the studs. But those cast iron hooks are the best, and they don't break. They're super sturdy. They do not come with screws, so you can go to Home Depot and they sell the little squatty screws and oil rubbed bronze. I think you get 6 screws for like $2 or something. All right, let's finish those corbels so they can see.
All right.
Tanya says in real life it feels like we've known each other forever. True that. Tanya and I have been in the trenches of painting furniture and flipping furniture together for years. So I feel like when you do that, you kind of have a common bond. All right, so here's the corbels. And I still get to see Tanya because she comes to the shop. All right, I'm going to grab some sandpaper, but Zeb left. So I promise I'm coming right back.
Where'd you put those corbels?
There, I already have them. Did you go outside?
Yeah, I went outside to go look for them.
You want to grab, here's a piece of sandpaper. You get started on going. Careful not to go too far because the paint's fresh.
Okay.
You could wet distress them too, but I kind of like to use sandpaper because you get a little bit of the wood grain. I don't want to knock that over. You could also use an orbital sander. You want to get me a damp paper towel.
Yep.
So the nice thing about the DIY paint,
You have the paper towels over there and water.
oh, and water. Well, I can solve my own situation. All right, I think I'm just gonna wet distress it because then I don't have to worry about sanding through. Sand it smooth and then wet distress it, and you can bring out the wood grain. It's kind of the look I'm going for. I want it to look like similar to the wood that's on the mantle. So these are strong enough they can be structural. So in this case, they're actually holding up the mantle. This doesn't work with every paint. I get asked all the time. I painted something in wet distressed and it didn't work. It has to be water soluble. So like DIY, Sweet Pickens, most chalk paints are water soluble. But if it's like a latex paint, it won't do this. All right, see what's going on there? Just bringing that back. That's good then. Just smooth out the paint and then use it. Here, paper towel for you, paper towel for me. When the paint's really fresh, you gotta be careful when you're using sandpaper because you might go through the paint to the lighter color wood, which is okay. I'll have to seal these. I'll use the Sweet Pickens top coat like we did on the cabinets, and then I might actually come back with some dark wax.
So top coat is a little more matte than DIY Big Top. The Big Top is, if you got like a table or something, that's what we used on our table. It's bulletproof, but for stuff like this, the top coat gives like a nice matte sheen. And the top
Big
coat
Top
does
is
work.
more satin.
The top coat does work really well on tables and things. It's just if you want something that's going to get abused all day long, I would use the Big Top.
I don't know. I'm thinking about using top coat on my table just because I want a more matte finish.
Well,
Can you get me a
we
clean
also
paper towel? This one
we
is
also know
disintegrating.
someone who can just redo it real quick.
Yeah, if that's right. Could you? I need a clean paper towel. This one's got too much white paint on it. Sweetie, they're right there.
Oh,
And can you pass me the water by your foot?
yep. You got too much white paint on yours?
Yeah, like once you get so much white paint on it, it just smears it and doesn't actually take it off, and then you're kind of being counterproductive. Plus that rag was already used like a bunch of times. So I think I used it on the fireplace. Harrington, we're gonna be live for about 5 more minutes. Harrington's here working, so. If you finish those tray feet, you can throw them in the expedition.
What?
If you finish the tray feet, throw them in the expedition. Okay. All right. How are you doing over there? You getting it?
I'm mostly done.
All right, so this, give them kind of a weathered effect. Can you see the wood grain?
And we didn't paint the backs of the top.
Yeah, well, because they're gonna be.
Well, and we'll probably have to do like some wood filler or something. Is that the line?
This is gonna go to right here, right?
Yep. You found a fly.
Oh, well, we do have the door open sometimes. So this will go to right. Can you hold these up and I'll put the mantle on? You got a wider wingspan. We gotta
Here,
give
tell
them
you
the
what,
full
you
effect.
hold your one up. I'll prop it on your end.
All right,
and then
so
I'll-
we're coming up to this line of the mortar.
Hold it tight.
Okay, I got
It's
it.
gonna be heavy.
Oh, you weren't kidding. All right. Ta-da! It'll be a little bit more level and there'll be sconces, but this is basically the look we're going for. All right, you're gonna have to move that now. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you hit up JamiRayVintage.com for the paint and products. You can actually get the Farmhouse 1917 corbels on Jami Ray Vintage or Jami Ray Vintage Home. If you're interested in clothes or the sconces or the hooks, those are at JamiRayVintageHome.com, which is our clothing and decor store. So make sure you hit those both up. Comment with any questions, even if you're watching the replay. Be sure to share this video. Just hit that share, copy it, and throw it in your Facebook feed. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more.
DIY.
Bye guys, thanks for joining us.
Watch out
Love
for
you.
community. We'll post lots of pics.